The Endurance Karting Championship was designed to test man and machine in the lithium-ion battery technology on the indoor go-karting track. Today we start our third series of the indoor go-karting series, the K1 Speed of Canton Endurance Challenge. It's been a beautiful day here in North Canton, Ohio. The sun is setting on our indoor-outdoor track, and we are ready to go racing as our drivers are starting to select their car numbers. We're excited to have you alongside with us. My name is James Burley, and sitting next to me is Jason Gajewski. He is the race director or coordinator. As we welcome you guys to the booth. Jason, we call this the road to the 12 Hours of Canton, which is going to be our 12-hour race that we're going to run in March. This is going to be the series leading up to that, where we have some drivers competing for a half-hour challenge competition. They're going to be awarded points, and then what can we expect after that?
Yeah, so we're super excited about this part of it because it, like you said, it's the road to the 12 hours now. There's a lot of familiar faces down there, and even better, there's some new faces down there introducing the rookie class that we brought into it. So it's awesome. There's 3 of them down there that I met that first time doing it. And being able to separate it out so that the 12 hours is a pro event, and then the rookie class gives you a taste into the endurance side of karting, which, as far as I know, we're the only ones that do it. So it's a ton of fun to be able to do the electric endurance racing. K1 Speed North Canton, and huge credit to James, owner of facility. Takes really good care of the karts, and everybody's so excited for it. So yeah, I'm looking for some really competitive action because a couple of the teams that were really high up in the were really high up in the 12 hours last year. A few of their teammates are here racing for the team, so it should be a pretty good on-track battle. I'm guessing.
Yeah, we wanted to make it so this was basically a feeder series. So we're going to run this series once a month, and when they accumulate the points, that'll give them a chance to win prize money towards their 12-hour entry, right?
Yeah. So the points is the point system's very basic, 15 down, and then the winners will get prizes in accordance first, second, and third for pro class, and then as well first, second, and third for the rookie class as well. So it's really exciting that it builds right into the 12 hours like that. It gives everybody a good taste of what to expect when competing in the 12 hours.
And that's a long race.
Yeah.
Tonight is not going to be that long. Don't have to worry. It's not going to take 12 hours. Tonight's session is just a 30-minute session. But first we got to qualify them. So that's what we're going to do is we're going to run out into some randomly assigned karts, as you saw right before the live stream. And they're going to set their best qualifying time.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. Total randomizer, I know we had it on screen as we were getting ready to go. There's a randomizer on the computer that you can click, and it assigns a kart number randomly to you. So everybody's in randomized karts, and they go out for 5 laps, and it's time-based. So the best of 5 laps, the best time in 5 laps, and that's where your position grid start for the endurance race is, 30-minute endurance race.
Grid start will be a standing start. And which is now maybe not as typical in a go-kart environment, but the reason we do that is to try to make it as fair as possible for such a tight track.
Yeah,
just not a lot of runoff area here.
We've tried different starts for it and stuff like that, and the standing start really is a good start for this race. And a lot of the races we do here, especially the way the track is set up, it gives you some time to accelerate and find a line into turn 1, and most people can do that pretty smoothly. So it's a very even playing field, and it gives everybody the same advantage, or I guess disadvantage, from a standing start. You don't have to pace the guy in front of you in that. You just look for the green lights. As soon as you see the green lights on track, we're ready to go. We have the track lights all the way around and outside to let everybody know if there's a slow kart on track. You get a flashing yellow, and of course the start of the race is a green light. So it's really good as a driver. Me driving it, I know you have too. It's a very visual thing. It's good to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're getting a shot of all the drivers as they're in their cars now. It's just going to be a quick qualifier. It doesn't take very long, 5 laps. They were able to choose their karts. Their priority was based upon their championship standings. So Katie Wise was the first one to choose their kart because she is our reigning champion in the Endurance Series. Congratulations to her. She just wrapped up that championship last month. Now we're going to start all over again. So the points are back to 0, and we're going to award 15 points to the winner tonight, and everybody gets on down through the positions, they get -1 from that starting point. So 15 to first, 14 to second, 13 on down the line. There will be bonus points awarded tonight for the pole position. So whoever is the fastest qualifier gets an extra bonus point, and whoever sets the fastest single lap of the race gets 2 bonus points tonight.
Yeah, it's in the qualifiers. I mean, most of the people, and I explained to the rookie class that, you want to pace yourself out a little bit. So it's not a very competitive. There's 13 drivers today, so you can get stacked up in a qualifier very quickly. But you don't want to fight the person in front of you. If they're faster than you, just jump behind them and watch their line a little bit. Let them by. It's a qualifier. You want to find that best line. And the awesome part about what we do with the lithium ion batteries here is the lap times will get faster as we go on. So everybody will find that hot line on the track. The tires start heating up. The track starts heating up, and it's really beneficial to learn from the people around you that are going and not hold them up in qualifying, and then ask questions. I mean, we're a very open group. We'll tell you how to get faster because we want you to get faster. But yeah, it's amazing with these karts that as you go, we'll see it here in a little bit when we run the 30 minutes. The times will get faster as they go. There's no drop off.
They will, which is the great thing about the batteries, and the combination of that the drivers are going to adapt to a little bit throughout the night is just going to be the cooling temperatures of outside, because we are going to run the indoor-outdoor combination track tonight. And so we'll see. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it'll be awesome, especially with the kart swap. So you kind of get used to your kart for a little bit, or perhaps you don't like your kart. It handles a little weird or anything like that. So it's one of those things where with the kart swap, you're able to get into a different kart, and it might throw your rhythm off, or it might help you out a little bit.
Yeah, if you've ever done indoor go-karting before, you know that kart swaps are kind of an unusual thing, but that's what you get with the Endurance here. The Endurance series originally started as it was a challenge on how to manage your battery, and there's a challenge with that with the technology of lithium and providing that information back to the driver. So the championship series has changed a little bit and evolved as we put the lithium batteries through the gauntlet, and we've decided to do a driver swap so that the drivers can go out there, they can set their fastest laps, they just worry about going fast, trying to set that single fastest lap time for bonus points, and then they get to come in and swap the kart.
Yeah, it's a really even playing field out there, because you're able to, like I said, you kind of get used to your kart. Just like you said, it's one of those things you kind of adapt to what you're driving, and then as soon as you hit your kart swap, it throws your rhythm off. And even the best drivers out here, it's a challenge to you're pulling out onto a hot track with cold tires, so that zipper effect that happens in turn 1 coming out of the pits is really exciting as a driver, because you're trying to maintain your place, but your tires are slipping a little bit, and it makes it challenging. So it's a lot of fun.
As everybody is rounding the outdoors for the first time, this is the parade lap. No timing here. We'll bring up our timing and scoring. As they come back into the inside, that will be when they start their first qualifying. As you can see, it's only 5 laps. As Adam runs a little wide in that first corner, maybe some cold tires. You want to try to stay off the barriers if at all possible. And green flag is now underway for the first qualifier.
Yeah, we'll see Rachel coming out on the outdoor part. I know she was in the first kart there, in kart 15, Rachel Hart, and that chicane outside, it's a good place. Early on, as the kart warms up, it gets a lot easier to take, but you see a line of them coming through there now, and it's a lot of fun.
And I believe this is our onboard with PJ Mannypenny, who is he was the first Endurance champion. We ran this series the very first time, and he was the winner. His daughter is actually Katie, so that's the really cool thing about where we've been with the Endurance so far, is we've kept it all in the family, even with 2 championships now.
Yeah, and I know there's another family, the Webbers, that come out and do it once in a while too, and it's a lot of fun. Katie and Rachel are the 2 girl drivers. There's Rachel on screen now in kart 15. I personally have I don't know what you would call it, the friendliest of most competitive relationships with Katie. Anytime we've ever run the Endurance race, it's head-to-head between me and Katie, no matter where we're at. But I know her dad, PJ, the ex-champion of Endurance, defending champion, I guess it would be, he is an incredibly good Endurance driver, and they come out just to do this event so much. And he's one of those guys competing early on with him that his cart, I don't even know if he like Fred Flintstones it or what he does, but he can take a cart further than anybody I've ever met, and he's so consistent. And I've had carts faster than him, I've had carts slower than him, and it's amazing to watch him drive. He's a very smooth driver, and I think that's what it is all about in endurance.
It is, and it's not so much, I mean, obviously he's a competitive driver, but he's not always on top of the qualifyings as far as the fastest lap times, but yet he's so consistent. That's what makes him a good endurance racer, and that's what's great about this championship is it's kind of that mix between the guys that can run fast and the guys who can conserve and the guys who can just manage a nice long race.
Yeah.
And it's challenging to do that in a go-kart on an indoor track.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and to be able to do that consistently, like you said, is a talent. And time for time, there are faster drivers on track than PJ, but his consistency is what gets it. And for the three new guys, the three rookies that came in today, it's the same advice I told them is, you don't have to be super fast. You don't be so aggressive with it. You just really want to let the cart do the work, and the smoother you are, the farther the cart takes it. And it's a lot of fun.
As Cash Felber jumps up to the number 1 spot, Roman, his brother, in the number 2, bumping David Pons to the number 3, who had the fastest lap. Cash and Roman setting low 40-second times.
You can see Cash trying to wave Roman by as they battle it through outside, coming in the chicane.
Those two right there that we're watching on screen, the number 31.
Number 8 and number 3, I think. Or 31, yep.
And this is going to be it for the qualifying session as they round the start-finish line. This will be the end of qualifying. What can the Felbers do?
Rachel hops into second with a 40.5.
Rachel jumps up to second. Bumps Roman down to third. Wow, a 40.51 versus a 40.53. And Roman Felber now in fourth as the rest of the crew comes across the line. Nolan Ryder jumping into the third spot. Nolan Ryder, one of our rookie drivers this year, on the top 3 of the qualifying session.
That is awesome. Yeah, and you'll see him now pull into the pit lane there, and they will come into pits, and with their best times, as we can see, it's Cash, Roman, Nolan, and Cash, Rachel, Nolan, Roman, David Ponce, rounding out the top 5 there. They'll get their randomized carts, and we'll get going for the 30-minute race here in just a minute. But that pit lane in the back is another awesome feature we have for the endurance race, where you'll see during the race when they do a cart swap that we're able to automatically, when they pull into the pit lane there, into the cones, they're able to knock the cart speed down automatically. So the carts all come in at the same pace, and there's a 25-second pit stop that's mandatory for everybody. So you pull in, stop your cart, the timer starts, you have 25 seconds to get into the next cart, and you wait 25 seconds, buckle up safely, and then accelerate out, and you get speed automatically coming out of the pits. It's pretty automated. We try to take all of the human error that we can out of it. That way the racers can stay focused on being competitive. So yeah, you can see Katie there walking down, and
every single one of the drivers in the 41 seconds. So the entire field.
I was going to say that's really good, especially with 3 rookies out there.
The entire field is separated by about 1.2 seconds, I believe.
This is going to be a competitive race.
That's going to be something. And strategy is going to be a part of that too. So they have the option of when to pit. So keep that in mind. It's a timed race, so we're not going by lap counts any longer. It's just overall time, and they can choose when they want to pit, either to get a different cart, or if they just want to, jump their own competitor, or if they think that they are in traffic and they think they need to get out of it, best time to pit. We got David Pons in the center with the 01 in the back of his shirt. David Pons, almost the uncle to the Felbers. You can see him giving them a hard time.
Yeah, Cash and Roman, they're how old?
I believe 13.
Yeah, and they are some serious competitive racers, and it's amazing. They're like little sponges when they're around us, and their racing career is just growing like crazy, and all of us just feed into that. It's so cool to have 14-year-old come out there and put out times that beat some of the best drivers around. So it's a lot of fun, and I know they enjoy it. You can see their dad on the fence there, Josh Felber, real nice guy, and just a really, really nice family. And it's
and
like,
you know what they told me right before the start of the race?
What's that?
Did you hear the news? They got their F4 licenses.
Did they really?
They do.
Oh my God! Huge congratulations to them. I know they were trying for that. They've been competing in the Formula 4 testing and everything like that, and that's awesome to hear. That is so cool. So no guarantee that you come to K1 Speed North Canton turn into a Formula 4 driver, but you never know.
Yeah, I think they've had a little bit of training outside of Formula 1, but
yeah.
I'll always lay claim to being their first driver coach. That'll be
That's awesome.
my claim to fame.
Well, and I've raced quite a bit with them, and they are some serious competitors, but I think they're the most serious competitors against each other, and that's awesome to watch two brothers kind of go at it.
I don't.
Yeah, so everybody's doing their randomizer right now, and they're picking their carts, so we will get that going shortly. Rachel waves her hand in the air, so I'm assuming it's a cart she either wanted to get or didn't want to get, so that'll be awesome to watch. Here's Will Nonamaker. Nonamakers are fantastic. Again, family affair of racing. They actually run Champ Car now, but they've run a whole bunch of different endurance series professionally, and they're one of the teams that came out for the 12 hours, one of the first teams of two that came out, and they had their dad on the radio there in the pits, and during the 12 hours you get live telemetry data of the battery, so you can tell your teammate when to come in and pit and everything. It was really, really cool. They were doing really well, and then they dropped down after a bad pit stop, I think, and it was yeah, I think they wound up in fourth, right?
Well, and you glance over that as if it was nothing. They did a team of two
in the 12-hour event.
12-hour karting race.
Yeah.
And this is obviously full credit to drivers who compete in endurance races. But when you get in a go-kart and there's no power steering and your walls are defined by you with bumpers, you can't do runoffs. You don't have long straightaways. Mm-hmm. It's constant right, left, and that's when we didn't have the outdoor track open.
Right.
These guys ran the entire 12 hours with just two drivers.
The indoor track, and I remember when I did the first 50 race challenge, I got out of the cart and I was like, this is it kills you at 50. And 40, you just, like 30, you're feeling okay, 40 is rough, but the full 12 hours of it is absolutely crazy. So, it's awesome to see them come out and do that. And yeah, it is a team of two, and I'm assuming that if the Felber boys are available for the next one, which is coming up. I know we're doing it March, at the weekend of St. Patty's Day in March, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah,
the
March
15th, I believe.
Yeah,
so we're planning it around that, and it's a heck of an event. So definitely either put a team together or check us out on the stream. It is an awesome event, but it's so cool to see so many different types of racers. We've got dirt racers, we've got motocross people, we've got Formula 4 guys now, we can say. We've got car guys, motorcycle guys, a little bit of everybody, and it's fantastic to see everybody come out and compete. Like you said, you're not used to, as a driver, especially coming from cars, to be confined to a go-kart like that. Number one, it's no power brakes, no power steering, but it's also such a shorter track. You don't really have too much of a rest in between your turns, and you've got 8 other competitors out there in the 12 hours. This is 13 competitors, all fighting for position, so there's no time to really relax much at all. You're just constantly on the go. So doing that with 2 drivers was fantastic. I remember when they signed up, we were like, you got to be kidding me, this is awesome. But yeah, it's great. Like, and endurance racing is one of those things that we highlight here because we're able to do it here. There's a lot of fine facilities around that do indoor go-karting and that, but with the lithium batteries, drivers prefer it because it drives more similar to a gas-powered engine, because you have consistent power all the way through the race. And when the battery is ready to die, when your gas tank is empty, quote unquote, the cart does shut off. But there's no power drop before that. So with the 12 hours, having a teammate being able to monitor your battery levels was really important for that. So it's a lot of fun to compete in, though. I know both of us have done it, and it's so much fun. Not the 12 hours, we've done the endurance.
and that's why tonight's competition keeps your appetite whet for the entire 12 hours coming up. Basically allows us to bridge the gap between your current racing season and something that's yet to come. So
yeah, it's a really, really good segue, and especially going into the winter time when there's a lot of the Ohio weather wasn't so great for winter sports last year. So it's a lot of fun to be able to fill that gap for everyone from pros to rookies coming in wanting to learn how to go faster. It's just awesome to see.
So one thing we neglected to note at the end of the results is that our current champion, Katie Wise, starting in 12th.
Wow. Okay.
41.5 was the lap time, which is not too shabby
not
for
a bad lap
an
time.
outdoor, but the field is so competitive tonight. Katie is going to be starting from the back.
And I believe that Katie will wind up probably closer to PJ or Will when she gets moving. She is a very I don't want to say aggressive because it's not aggressive. It's competitive.
Competitive.
It's a very, very competitive driving style. I personally love it because I have the same driving style. Well,
that's why you guys ended up racing against each other the entire time.
Yeah.
It was no matter where you guys qualified, by the end of the race, you can always end up battling together somewhere.
And it was even better when we did well in qualifying. So we were at like second and third or third and fourth, so we were competing podium, and there were other people trying to, when we're battling, we're obviously slower, so there's people trying to get by us, and there's no way you can get by us with us battling. We take up the entire track. So
you could say that again. And our previous champion, PJ Manipenny, is starting in 9th position. So, it's probably not ideal. It's not where he wants to start, but like we talked about before, he's a good endurance guy. So we're sure that he can work his way up through the field tonight.
Oh yeah, and we'll get them going here real soon, and we'll see where everybody winds up.
So we're going to step away for a second while we get the carts lined up. We'll stay with live shots with you guys, and we'll be back momentarily. The cars are getting ready to go out to their grid positions.
Yep, they are pulling the carts out in order so everybody has an easier time with where they're lining up. So they'll go around and warm up their tires and then stop on their grid spots assigned on track. And then, oh, there we go, a little onboard with Cash Felber. Backward shot because he's running up front, so it should be good to see what's going on behind him.
Yeah, I got a couple onboard GoPros tonight. We got Cashew is going to be your pole sitter, followed by Kenneth Christensen. I believe he goes by KC, but we'll call him Kenneth since that's what they gave us. And then we're also going to be on board with David Pons, who is definitely going to be watching. We're going to be watching him working from the 5th position tonight.
Yeah,
with Adam Lieberman and Will Nonemaker going to be bearing down on him.
Yeah, plus he's got to get through Roman and Nolan, so it's going to be interesting to watch. And then I think we got one of the newer guys on GoPro as well.
Yeah, sorry. We have on board with Patrick.
Yep.
Who was 16. Part of Team Talladega at the 12 hours. So Patrick is kind of new to the endurance series, but he's definitely not new to the endurance karting side of things.
Yeah, yeah.
Great qualifier with him. I mean, qualifying in 8th position with a 40.9.
We say that like it's like you're an 8th with a 40.9, but
everyone had a very good qualifying tonight. Yeah. And I'm most impressed with Nolan Ryder starting in the 3rd spot up there.
Yeah, that's a good time. To get in between, Rachel is extremely consistent, and then Cash and Roman are very consistent as well. But in a position race like we're going to see now, it's going to be no bars hold. I think this is going to be a really, really good race.
Nolan only doing a little over 20 races here on this track.
Total.
Yeah,
Holy
total
smokes.
Races. Very impressive performance by him tonight.
Yeah.
In kart number 2, I would add.
Yeah, so they're going to go on the green lights here. You see them, they're yellow right now on the poles. So the drivers are all looking for the green lights, and then they'll get going. They're making sure everybody's got speed, everybody's good, and the, I guess, race director, me, has the option if there's false starts, we can restart that if needed. But everybody's pretty good. I've slept on a green light a couple of times myself, so it's easy to do, but you just have to focus because the track master ultimately has control over when they push the button.
And here's how you're going to be able to tell the difference between the Felber boys. You got Cash, who's sitting in the pole position. He is the green helmet for Cash Bunny.
That's it.
Not to be confused with his brother Roman, so he's going to be in 4th. Again, all these guys are going to be interesting to see what can happen tonight on the 30-minute endurance challenge. We are about to go green. Waiting for the lights, and off we go. And Cash Felber gets a good jump on the rest of the field. Everybody organized, nose to tail. Looks like going to be a pretty clean start through.
Yeah, everybody coming through the chicane. Looks like we're all lined up pretty good.
On board with David Pons, who's got 4 cars in front of him.
Yeah, watch them coming through the outdoor chicane here. This is where people try to get passes in early. Like I said, though, your tires are still cold, so there's a lot of action usually in that turn in the first part.
Yeah, as Roman is pushing the number 36 of Nolan to the side, and David Pons trying to wiggle his way up there. Going to go side by side, throws up a hand, but
hey, you can squeeze someone out.
If that's he had the track space.
Yep. Yeah, if that's your line, you got to stick it, and that's perfectly fine. It's frustrating. I've been in that position, but he'll get him back. He's going to come through here. He'll probably try to make some work on him on the outdoor chicane.
As we see, Cash has put in a pretty good gap here to Rachel. Rachel in the number 20 machine.
Yep,
And then there we got David Pons and Roman Felber battling it out right there. As they come back inside to the indoor, we got 4 cars almost nose to tail.
Yep, and Rachel's gonna gain on him a little bit. She always lets the cart warm up, and same thing with David. They're very consistent. They just, once the carts warm up, they're lethal. So I know David's got a handful behind him right now, though.
He's feeling the bumps,
yeah,
no doubt.
I'm sure.
as he's right up on the tail of Nolan Ryder, the number 35. All the three of those guys really battling it out as they enter the outdoor section.
Yeah, I know David's probably going to try and make quick work with Nolan because he wants Nolan to get behind him so he can deal with Roman a little bit better. But you know, the more they fight, you can see the gap that's already been created just from them going back and forth. It's really tough when you're battling someone and still trying to gain on the leaders. You lose so much ground.
We got David, who's got Nolan right in front of him in a number 35. Pretty even matchup so far, but he's going to give him a little bit of a bump as they go through 3. And then there's always this squeeze in 4 because there's not really room for 2 cars to go through turn 4.
Yeah, there's good passing in that if you line it up right. If someone goes a little bit wide in 4, you can set them up pretty good.
Nolan holding his line really well. Dave's going to look on the inside. Is he going to be able to get that pass? Yes, he did.
Yep. So actually, Roman got it.
And Roman followed right behind him as well. So Roman's going to look on the inside of turn 1. Not going to make him move. Wouldn't be too smart of a thing to do in that spot of the track.
No. Well, it's no wonder he got by. I mean, they're basically glued together at this point.
Yeah, it was like a train. They just, once David got by Nolan, it was just the two of them together.
And it's better off to work that way.
As they round the outside. Follow the leaders. There's the gap. And then there's our number 3 and number 4 spots of David Pons and Roman Felber. Nolan didn't really lose too much ground there. He's still hanging with the pack, but there is a little bit of a gap back there till we get back to Will Nonamaker and Adam Lieberman, who are pretty much nose to tail as well.
Yeah, you can see in this shot the gap that's formed here, and it's pretty wide out. You know, once you start working with someone in these races, I know Rachel's probably trying to catch up to Cash to be able to do it, but David and Roman are working together. Once you get that person behind you and you get the little bit of bump, even if you have a slower cart, you work together and you can really catch up to the pack pretty quick. So it's pretty good. Even further back down the field, the gaps are pretty consistent right now. So we'll see what happens with the cart swaps, though.
And Katie Wise, look at her, already up to the number 8 position from starting in last.
And Katie Wise putting in the fastest lap of the race so far to 39.9. Yeah. Well, I guessed she was going to get somewhere up around PJ, and it looks like she took PJ already, and now she's got her sights set on Adam.
Oh, we got Roman, who has now got around David for the 3rd spot. As they round through turn 4, David's still right on the tail. The number 21 is Roman's just driving backwards.
Yeah. Well, he's signaling, so you tap your helmet, you do that signal to work together. And I know Roman probably, knowing Roman, he just wanted to be in front of David. But that's like I was saying, usually you grab a buddy in these races and you try to catch the leaders. You just work together a little bit. But I think Roman's going to put a little distance on David.
He'll work together as long as David's behind him.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And Roman putting up a 39.8, so he's on the move to get Rachel. So besting Katie's time, coming in at a 39.9 again. So she's running very consistent 39.9s.
Yeah, the gap has closed a little bit between 1st and 2nd as we watch Katie and the number 20. I'm sorry, Rachel and the number 20.
Yeah, she takes her time, and once she gets warmed up, she'll study her line, and then she'll start coming after you. But she waits for the perfect spot. There's a couple of racers that we race with. Salerno is a move that we use, and Corey Salerno is the guy, a good friend of ours that does it. But he'll take a gap that he thinks is there. Rachel's one of those people that takes a gap that is there, so she'll take her time with that. But I bet you that gap will close up a little bit, especially with Roman on the move. Once Roman, I bet you Roman will catch up to Rachel here. He's not much quicker than her, but once Rachel starts getting a little traffic, then it might help to sort that out a little bit.
Yeah, as we're now watching the battle of the number 13 of Adam and Katie. Oh, Katie's cut her on the outside. Is she going? Nope, not going to make the pass stick, but she was definitely on his tail as they come down to the inside.
She'll make another inside move here on the
watch them as they come around the carousel. Oh, look out, a little bit of bump there. They're going to head to the start-finish line. Let's see what they could do down in turn 1.
And Katie did get at him.
All kinds of movement here, especially Katie moving up through the field. As the gap now between David Pons and Roman Felber, pretty much Roman's
Roman's
taken away.
Yeah, walking away from him a little bit, but he's got a little bit of work to do. I mean, he's only a tenth behind, or well, he's running a little bit slower now than Rachel, but they keep exchanging. I don't think that gap's going to change very much. Rachel with a 39.8, the fastest, 39.86, so the fastest of the race so far she's at. And now she's closed up that gap pretty good. So she's feeling comfortable in that kart now, so she's going to start giving Cash a little bit of pressure, letting her know that she's there, and then hopefully frustrate him a little bit, and he moves offline, she'll try to make a move. But Cash is he's turned into a very consistent driver. If he's out front, so long as he's not battling with someone, he's turned into a very consistent driver. So it's going to be very tough to pass him, especially when you get into traffic with him.
I would agree, and that's why this battle is so important with Rachel being such a calculated driver. She's going to be so consistent, but she doesn't usually push the issue on a pass. She's going to wait for that person in front to make a mistake before she tries to even look down the inside of your car.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great style of racing. I mean, she's a fantastic racer, but it's one of those. In some of these races, you got to put your nose in it to get it, and it's a lot of fun. But we'll see what she does here. I know there's a couple turns that she'll look in the inside of 2, on to 3, 4. That's where she gains a lot of speed. She loses a little bit of the gap here, but she'll close up in a lot of the really tight turns. She's a very calculated driver. So her turns are very quick.
As Cash Felber just put down the fastest lap of the race, and then Roman bests him, throws 39.6 compared to that 39.7. Like you said, these lap times are dropping.
Yeah, and it's the lap times with Roman, and that's what I was saying with the gap with Rachel. She starts getting into a little bit of traffic, and that's going to slow her up. And Roman, putting down a 39.6, the fastest of the race so far, and he'll start catching her if she doesn't do a kart swap in time, and that's what we're going to start seeing. I'm going to guess around the 15-minute mark or so, we'll start seeing a bunch of kart swaps, and we have in the pits you can swap.
Yep. Speaking of which, we got our first kart swap right here. That would be the number 16 machine. And this is the way the kart swaps are going to go, is you just park your machine and then you go jump over to the kart, which is directly opposite of you. Now, this is a timed pit stop, so you don't necessarily have to hurry. You have 25 seconds to complete the pit stop, as we see Will Nonamaker coming in as well. We're just at the 10-minute mark, as far as 10 minutes into this race, as the number 15 machine now takes off back into traffic and re-accelerates. And that's the number 15 of Patrick Dittmar, currently scored in 12th. Will Nonamaker obviously going to be in the pits as well, so he scored in 11th. He's the one doing that kart swap now. David Pons with a little bit of pressure from the number 35 behind.
Yep.
That's Ryan.
Katie waving her by.
Sorry, Nolan. And Will Nonamaker comes back out in a little bit of traffic. Looks like he's going to have a little bit of clear distance in front of him as they round the outside track. Sun is setting quickly here at the K1 Speed Canton outdoor section. As you see a train of 3 cars.
Going too wide to the inside.
You follow along with the number 21 of Cash Felber. Again, that green helmet is the distinguishing factor between him and his brother. We still have Rachel Hart coming on the outside.
They keep exchanging lap times. He'll go a little bit faster and she'll go a little bit slower, and then he catches her, she catches him. It's the lap times are just so consistent within. I mean, you're only talking a couple tenths of a second. So, but you can see the gap here, and that's a couple tenths, and they exchange those back and forth. So it's just a matter of getting used to the kart and playing with your line a little bit. But the lap times are getting a lot faster now, and you can see Will Nonamaker's time on the screen here. That's going to be his out lap. So when you go into pit lane, it doesn't count your lap until you get all the way back around the track again. So everybody, you'll be able to tell when.
Look at this battle as Ryan getting squeezed by Katie, who's going to take the spot, but is David Pons going to take it back? What's he going to do in turn 3? Now he's going to squeeze right behind.
Yeah. As
they're now going to be gapped between them and 4. The 3 of those cars are going to go to the outside. Into the dark abyss. Very difficult braking zone right there, that it's right up against the building that those cars just traversed. That's a very key moment to a clean lap time as we watch them come inside and around the carousel. Braking zone on the outdoor track. So this is the fastest part of the track. You're going really fast. You come up alongside the building, and where you brake is so critical to the entry of that next double chicane. You want to make sure that you don't brake too early because that guy behind you is going to be right there. But if you brake too late, then you run the risk of running too far wide, and then that really messes your lap time coming back inside to the building.
If we watch that line, that camera angle enough, you'll see that there's a few drivers that take this incredibly different, and you set yourself up for the next turn there. So I started always taking it wide and then coming in tight, and there's a few drivers that when you do that, they'll come right through the inside of it. So James is right. It's so important to set yourself up in that turn because it's a very, very good passing opportunity if you know how to take it.
Nolan Ryder not letting David Pons escape very easily, and David obviously looking down at the back of Katie Wise, who started in last position, now up to 4th.
Wow.
Last lap time of 39.7.
She's yet to do a kart swap, though, so she must like that kart. So she's probably going to try and run the wheels off of it. But that's risky. It's yellow flags. If your kart dies on track, the entire race stays moving. So you definitely want to get that pit stop in before your kart dies because you can lose a lot of ground really quick if you don't.
The number 12 of Adam Lieberman scored 12th, letting Rachel Hart around as lap traffic proceeds. Now he has done his kart swap, so that's the reason he's coming back out in the middle of the lap traffic.
Yep, and we
ride along with Cash Felber.
We only do blue flags for the rookie class. So if you're racing in the pro class, you don't get a blue flag. So if you come up on lap traffic and you're a pro, you don't necessarily have to let that person by. It is polite racing etiquette to do so. But with the rookie class, we want to make sure that they feel like they're racing in their class. If you let someone by politely that's faster than you, most of the time you can watch their line and learn a couple things. But here's Roman pitting right now.
He's running from his cart, but remember, this is a timed pit stop, so
no matter how fast you put on the seatbelts, you still have to wait.
As our track worker will stand there and count down the 25 seconds. That is a difficult thing for the drivers to do, is sit there in agony as they're just waiting to be released back into the field. Nope, don't move forward, don't move.
Oh, he must hit the 25.
All right, they must have given the signal.
Yeah.
As Josh is standing at the fence line waving, probably driver coaching, not really sure. Just 44 seconds remain to the halfway point of this race. As you're now looking at the battle between the number 15 of Patrick Dittmar and the number 31 of Kenneth Christian as they round the outside. We actually have it on board with Patrick Dittman. Will he look on the inside? Yes, he will. There's that braking zone. Nice smooth braking. And he will take that position. Good jump for the number 15.
Yeah, we just confirmed with the trackside crew that he was on the 25-second mark. He started rolling, so it was all good down there.
And we are now at the halfway point, just 15 minutes remaining in this 30-minute race. Katie Wise goes purple with a 39.5. We'll switch to the onboard of Kenneth Christensen. Nice view of the beautiful Ohio evening out there. Nice clear day to be running the outdoor track. All these drivers looking for points in the final championship series. We're going to be running for 6 months, once a month, and their points will be tallied. That will lead them up to the 12 Hours of Canton in March. Katie Wise, the number 29, with the number 15 hot on his tail. I believe that I don't believe we've had a pit stop from Katie Wise yet.
No, she has not.
As now
yet.
As the 26 now just squeezes to the outside of Kenneth, the 20. There's the great sportsmanship we like to see right there. The number 26, David Pons, pointing to the back of his car saying, "Hey, Kenneth, follow me, and I'll help you run the line." And this is what we wanted from the rookie class. We wanted them to run, to be competitive, but we wanted them to get practice, and we wanted them to be around other people who were racing, maybe even faster than they are, but we just wanted to have them have the experience, and that's what we got tonight. You can see just what a difference it makes even through the entry of turn 4 there, as Kenneth kind of slides sideways, what a difference it makes in the top speed when he gets to the outdoor section of the track. David actually be able to pull a little bit more of a gap just because of that one corner. And so this is what becomes difficult with indoor karting, is just the precision needed as the number 6 ducks to the inside. It's just a precision needed in order to run an indoor kart.
Yeah, you can see, especially with the pit stops, if you time them upright, and we'll be on board here with Rachel Hart. She came out right behind number 9 of Roman, where they were running first and second. But that pit stop matters because as everybody pits, you quickly regain those positions. So the 25 seconds is perfect because it spreads it out just enough that everybody gets around the field, and you end up, if you do it right and you're not slow on it, you come out right behind the person you were behind. So
and that's the key. If you do it right, you got to make sure that you hit your marks. You got to make sure you get into that pit lane, which is very difficult to maneuver. We'll see it on the next lap around. And then you got to make sure that you come in for the cleanest stop you can. Make sure you're not wasting time on your 25 seconds pit stop, and make sure you are launching as soon as the track workers let you go.
You talk about pit stops, and I remember in the 12 hours, and anybody that's watching this that was in the 12 hours, and these drivers can attest to it, pit stops made the difference in the 12 hours.
They did.
You could lose so much time on the indoor track with a pit stop, and we didn't have the 25-second clock. You just come in, there's a pit box, you have to stop your kart, and then there's a signal for your teammate to jump into the next kart, but they have to buckle safely and then start rolling. And there were a few teams that struggled with that, and it was such a difference that it made. So being clean with your pit stops is absolutely everything in these races.
Yeah, just with all forms of motorsports, you don't want to lose time in the pits. Your in and out laps are very important, especially that out lap when you're warming up the tires. We're going to look at right here, the left-hand side. You can see how sharp of a left-hand turn it is to get into that pit lane with the cones lining up on your left-hand side. It's tricky to do when you're coming on the outside. You're carrying some good speed. You got to make sure that you're lined up to hit your marks and get inside that pit lane. The computer will electronically slow the car down to a pit lane speed limiter, and you just have to make sure you're on the line in order to make that work.
Yeah, and James, I just heard from Track Ops that there he is. So David Ponce is pitting, but he was the last one to pit. I thought in his mind he was going to run it as far as he could, but yeah, he's jumping out of the 26 and into the 17. So yeah, I thought he might have just tried to take it as far as he could. But
so we'll follow along as he comes out of the pits, because this is going to be important for his position.
Yep.
If he's able to jump any drivers, we'll be able to tell that right away as he's waiting.
4, 3, 2, 1, and he's off.
Launch.
There you go. So we'll see where he comes out on track. Like you said, it is so important. He's looking already. He's pointing on the track to see where he's coming out. It's a long drive down there if you're the last one in the pits, but everybody gets the same amount of time with it.
And the car will automatically accelerate, and he comes out behind the number 12 of Jesse.
Yep. So I think this will shift everybody back down. So Roman and Rachel will be fighting it out. Cash right behind, and Katie is going to bump up to. Katie's going to bump up to 5th, I think, and that's awesome to see. I mean, she started all the way,
dead last. Yeah, she was 12th position starting, and she has bumped all the way up to the number 4 spot.
Yes, she has.
There you go. That's our defending champion right there. That's how you get it done in the Endurance Karting League.
That's right. She is the defending champion. I said that wrong because PJ was the first.
He was the first
champion. Yep. And then so Katie took second. She is defending champion. Holy crap.
Which brings us back to the battle for the lead between the number 9 and the number 5, Roman and Rachel, both running identical lap times nearly. This gap really hasn't changed a lot through the whole race. Rachel's dropped back a little bit maybe, but really never lost touch with Roman.
Yeah, and she's like we talked about. She's that precision kind of driver where she's gonna feel Roman out and see where the weak points are, and if she's faster in a turn, she'll be able to get it. But I know Roman drives such a tight line, and he's so fast. I mean, 14 years old to be able to compete at the level him and his brother do. That's going to be a very tough kart to pass. But it'll be exciting to watch.
An impressive drive from Roman, by the way, because Roman did start in 4th position, now scored up in the number 1. Cash, our pole sitter, dropped down to the 3rd position, and then we have Katie, as we've talked. David Pons, pretty much, he's moved around through the field as we've run the race, but he is right where he started in 5th place. Will Nonamaker, same thing, started in 7th, held the 7th position. As the battle for the lead continues, and I believe that number 31 is just a lap down with Kenneth Christensen. But that's okay. He's here competing, and he will get points for the Rookie of the Year standings, which are still so important that he's here running this race, even though he's running in that position.
Yeah, it's awesome to see the rookie class guys. It's you're out there competing, and I mean, they're even putting up pretty good times. I mean, for 42, 43, 41, 41, they're not far off from really competitive times. So that's what I wanted to see out of the rookie class. Was you got the guys running the 39s and stuff, but it'll get very competitive with the rookie class. I have a feeling as people sign up, it's going to be a competitive race because you're able to go out and race your pace, and the whole group of them will continue to get faster every race, and we'll see them in the 41s and 40s by the end of it.
And that battle up at the front on the outdoor is not changing. So Roman and Rachel, last laps, 39.7, 39.65.
Yeah, the gaps
almost identical.
Yep, and the gaps across the board with the whole race, it seems like. I mean, if you look across as we pan across here, there's pretty good distance between everybody. Everybody seems to have they've gotten in their groove, and they're just kind of running their own race at this point. I'm sure towards the end of it here, we got 6.5 minutes to go, and as time winds down and people, the carts are warm after the cart swaps and everything, people will start getting a little pushy maybe.
Yeah, if they're nose to tail, they're definitely going to push the issue. 33 laps on the board from the leaders. Just 6 minutes remaining in this 30-minute race.
Yeah, it's crazy how she closes up in the chicane like that. Like I said, she's such a technical driver, putting up a 39.3 on this lap here, and that is cooking. So she's 0.3 faster than Roman, and Roman's working to keep her behind him.
David Pons definitely has clear track ahead of him.
And he loves that. He just goes out and puts laps up. He loves it.
Yeah, he's now in his favorite element. He just gets to run as many laps as he wants to. But significant gap up between him and Katie, about 0.8, almost a full second between the spots of 4th and 5th there.
Yeah, I think this is one of our rookie class guys here. KC is what he goes by.
Yeah, I believe so.
So Kenneth KC, yeah, so he's running pretty good, 42.6. He's got a little gap there to Patrick, I believe.
I mean, at this point in the race, if you're not used to driving these cars, you've been driving for 25 minutes, it's difficult to keep a 42 pace.
It is, yeah. If this is your first 30-minute race here, it's a lot. And then, when they come back and they know kind of what they're getting into, they know the line a little bit better. You can see his line has improved quite a bit coming out on the outdoor chicane. But, yeah, they just get better and better. And going back up to the lead here, I know Rachel, with 4 minutes to go, she's going to be trying to make something happen.
We'll watch the leaders go through turn 4 and round the outside. They're still close. She looked like she was going to take a look. We'll follow them. And we need to get our camera over here to the leaders. Right behind them. There we go. Right on his tail. She knows that she's only got 4 minutes left. If she wants to make a pass, she's starting to push the issue. As they round the inside.
She's going to try and take that inside on the chicane if he
goes
wide.
She's trying to gain a little bit more.
Yep, and she has it. I mean, she's right on his bumper. You just have to find that gap.
Roman driving with the eyes in the back of his head.
Every turn he makes, he turns his head the other way to look.
We'll see what they can do as they come outside this time. Will Rachel have an advantage? I noticed that she's taking a little bit of an inside. I mean, Roman, I guess, fades over to the middle of the line as he goes outside, but
Yeah, he breaks very hard on the inside, being very defensive, and she runs that outside line, which is going to give her a lot more speed coming out of that turn. But Roman's just playing defense right now, so he's on the inside of most turns, trying to block her off. But if she can get that speed from the outside line, she'll be able to get by him.
And at this point, Rachel Hart has set the fastest lap of the race with 39.3. Roman closely behind with a 39.4 as they're going to come up on lap traffic. Kenneth's going to... Is that Kenneth?
I think that was...
Apologize, can't read the car
That's
numbers.
Patrick
but
Dittmar.
Oh, Patrick.
Yep, so they're running, and I see Will Nonamaker and Nolan Ryder, I think, right in front of them, so they might catch up to that. And like I said, you don't get blue flags in the pro class, so I'm surprised that they're working this hard for it, because they're going to come up on lap traffic, and that's where you make the errors sometimes. You start getting into your own lap traffic in your class, and that'll slow them down.
Such an impressive performance tonight with Nolan Ryder. Again, only run a few races here on track, and he's really holding his own as he's still running in the 6th position after qualifying in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, so they're going to catch up to him pretty quick, it looks like. And we've only got, well, less than a minute left, so this last minute of this race might get really interesting.
The white flag will come out as time expires. They will have 1 lap additional to complete after the end of the 30-minute time frame. As the leaders round the outside, they're up on lap traffic there with Will Nonamaker and the number 3 of PJ Manipenny. PJ started to take a look on the inside of Will, but now they're going to freight train it together, even though they are basically a lap down. Roma's not going to wait around. He's going to take the outside and then through the carousel, pushing his way in front of PJ Manipenny.
That was a good move, putting PJ between yourself and Rachel.
He now has a buffer between him and Rachel as he's going to look to the inside of Will Nonamaker and not take it on this turn, but he will on turn 3.
Will lets him by on the inside. That was awfully nice of him, but I know Will's gonna do everything to hold PJ behind him. Looks like Will was going up the inside there. There's Roman flying away, but what do we got? We got
PJ who's taking the inside, who now has Rachel a lap car behind him. Will he move over for lap traffic, or will he battle that out?
There's no love lost there. It looks like he's holding her off.
These leaders have really pulled out a significant gap with some impressive lap times tonight.
Yeah, and it's on the outdoor track, you wouldn't think that the minute differences in the times add up lap after lap after lap, even though the lap times are very similar. I mean, even, Patrick, Kenneth, and Adam putting up, Kenneth is almost to a 41 there. I think his best time is a 41. So everybody's sub 41 here. I'm sorry, sub 42.
13 seconds remaining. Will they make it back to the checkered or the start-finish line before time expires, or will we have 2 additional laps for this? This will be white flag.
White flag.
Yep. As Rachel now sets a 39.0.
Wow.
On the next to last lap of the race.
I saw her back off of the lap traffic there to give herself a gap, and I wonder if that's what she was doing, just setting up for the extra point. She didn't want to fight it out for the point for first. I think she was just going after the fastest lap point. And
one advantage of that battle that they were having with the leaders was that PJ got by Will Nonamaker for the 7th position. That'll give him an extra point on the series. So important because all the points are only separated by 1. Roman Felber rounds the track for the last time as he comes to the start-finish line. The winner of our very first Endurance Karting series. He will be followed by Rachel Hart, Cash Felber, rounding out your top 3 with Katie Wise and David Pons, your top 5.
Did you see that gap that she made up, though? I mean, she got by the other 2 cars and had that gap.
That was very impressive. That was just to show that she had that extra pace.
Her last lap was a 39.2.
As Roman just throws up his hands in celebration, he knew that he had a fast driver on his tail the entire race. Impressive performance by him and Rachel.
Yeah, and he started in 4th place, so moving that way up, he got by his brother and everyone. That's awesome. And Katie, starting last, getting up to fourth, that is an awesome drive for Katie Wise.
That's the drive of a champion right there with Katie Wise.
That's it. And every point matters. You get third in the first race, but you still have 5 to go. So it's one of those, you can work your way up, and so you can be in sixth place for your first race, and the next few races really matter. Those points add up. If people have a bad drive and you're able to top out first and second a couple of times, you can catch them pretty quick. So you can miss a race or two and still be in the running, and then you can also jump into the rookie points or the rookie class if you qualify at any point in time too, just to get on track with us. And like I said, we build this around the 12 hours, working into the 12 hours, so these guys are competing for prizes, that an entry and money into the 12-hour race for their team. So there's 4 different drivers from 4 different teams that are in this race alone. So I know it's a really, really good time, and these guys are getting excited for the 12 hours as we are as well. So it's a good drive from everyone. Roman, Rachel, and Cash in the top 3, and then Katie coming all the way from last place to getting fourth is a fantastic drive. David had his hands full with Roman for a while in the beginning part of the race. That was awesome to watch. And then Nolan, PJ, and Will had their own battle going on for the first half, and then the kart swap made it up, and PJ ended up getting ahead of Will when Rachel and Roman were fighting it out on the last couple laps there. So that was a good move by PJ. But like I said with PJ, he's a very, very consistent driver. So I wouldn't be surprised. 7th place, like I said, you can start mid-pack in the Pro Series and wind up overall first. He's a very consistent driver. Definitely someone to watch out for. Will having a great time out there, and then I believe the Jesse, Patrick, Kenneth, and Adam were our rookie class today. So that's awesome to watch, and I know you're going to pop the points up here in a minute just to show, but everybody having a great time with it, and it's awesome to watch.
Yeah, just try to get our point standings here. Rachel did complete the fastest lap of the race, so even though she finished in second position, she will take the #1 spot in the championship with those 2 extra points. Her fastest lap time of a 39.018.
That is a fast lap. And
that is not a boost time.
That was not a boost time, and that's later in the race. Like we said, the karts, as they warm up, it's not like your average go-karting place where as your kart warms up, you'll put in faster times because the tires warm up, the track warms up. So I think it was smart of her to back off that fight for first and just get the additional point for fastest lap. And I know with her, we call her Team Excel because everything's so calculated as she drives. She was probably thinking about that. So,
and also noteworthy that Cash Felber will have 14 points because he was our pole sitter, so he will hold the 3rd position.
And defending champion Katie with 12 points. That puts her right in the running with stuff. With a couple of good races, she will be right back in the top 3, no doubt. David Ponce, another consistent good driver with the top 5 finish there. He's you could see him in the pits there talking to Roman and Cash, and he's just having a good time. He loves it. Like you said, he was in his element there for a little bit when there was no one on track, and he's just going out putting up laps, having fun. So it's awesome to watch everybody drive, and especially the rookie class coming in and trying it out. It's a lot of fun. So hopefully we'll catch up with everybody in the pits here in a little bit. But it looks like everybody's talking to each other, talking about different lines down there, and it's a lot of fun.
So we thank you very much for following along. We hope you enjoyed the race. Obviously, lots of storylines yet to develop in the next 5 months. We're so excited to see where this championship is going to go leading up into the 12 hours. Obviously, that Crown Jewel event happening in March. So if you are interested in this kind of thing, be sure to look for us on social media at k1speedcanton.com. Make sure you're signing up for the Endurance League. The
Endurance Kart.
Yeah, the signups will come out for the next race, and we do take signups based upon priority. So if you're interested in getting in the next race, make sure you sign up for the next race so you can secure your spot. We do lock it out at 12 racers per event.
Feel free to email either James at K1 Speed Canton or the 12 Hours of Canton if you're interested in that side of it at Gmail to let us know. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun, and if you guys enjoyed watching it, come out and try it. The rookie class looks like a lot of fun because, I mean, they wound up all sub 42. So the slowest I think was a 41 that was out there for their best. So they're improving quite a bit. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch the different classes compete and see how everybody winds up. And it's a ton of fun. So if you guys like endurance, like James said, come out, check it out. There's also Boost League on Monday nights. If you guys are interested in that, we run a Boost League, so you get to push the button, go a little bit faster. It's a lot of fun racing that. But thanks for watching the Endurance Series.
Yeah, for everyone here at K1 Speed and the phenomenal crew that made this race happen, we thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month.